Good morning. Ooh, that's a bit loud in my ears. Alrighty, we're going to put my money where my mouth is and run old troubles with modern solutions, which requires some tricky driving from the steam engine in the snow. So it's probably going to be a bit of a quiet stream today because everybody else is streaming German trains. So I thought I'd be a little bit different. So I have actually played this. Interestingly, it says I've played it in this build, which I haven't. But meh, whatever. One of the Class 150s has broken down. There's a surprise. And caused the route ahead to be blocked. I just pushed it out of the way. Be alright. SIT says, I did indeed remember your video from the backwards cross-city attempt. Oh, yeah, thank you. That was a bit interesting. There's our engine. It's the black LMS. Follow the markers. Maybe I should turn the markers on. What do you reckon? Then we could see them. We've got our coaches. We've got people in our coaches today. Oh yeah, there's a few people in there. Often when you start a scenario, there's no people. And then you open the doors, and if there are people, they'll get out. Because they go, oh, I don't want to go out with him. Let's turn on the lamp. Why? Because it's pretty. No, seat. Where's the seat? Come on. There we go. Let's get the window open, because you would in the snow, wouldn't you? So we're going to have to set back here, because there's a train in the way. And of course, do we have a fireman? No, because in scenarios you don't get firemen. Bugger. Alright. Sounds like we've got plenty of steam pressure anyway. Cylinder cocks are open. Let's get the reverser on. I'm not going to bother going all the way to backwards for the simple reason that there's no point. Brakes off. Oh, we might as well put on AWS. Why not? Three pips for going backwards. Little bit of steam. Don't need much. There we go. Let's pop outside and watch. Now, interestingly, would the signalman, because this is a signalled station, would the signalman have actually let us into this platform with a train in the way? Probably not. But we'll never let reality get in the way of a good story, will we? Hello, LaserJet899 overshoots. Welcome. Floaty things. Oh, they're gone. I wonder what they were. Whatever. What were the floaty things? Did they fall off the steam engine? That's an interesting theory. We wind our way backwards at Truro, through the level crossing. Probably should have tooted to that, but I didn't. There you go. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a quiet stream today. Everybody's probably off chasing the German trains, as they do. See, there's the signal box. And this station, I believe, is still signalled today. So I would have thought they would have done something smarter. Time for a gratuitous bridge shot, as you do. Now, why is this going to be a difficult start, do you reckon? Look at that gradient. We need one of these, don't we? Of course we do. Let's put the brakes on. I think we've gone far enough. Come up a bit closer and watch him. Yeah, that's close enough. So we're now going to go the other way. Still thinks I'm going backwards. Hopefully. Now actually I just put that all the way forwards. I don't want to go all the way forwards because that won't work. Now I've still got my cylinder cocks open, I think. I hope. Because we're going to try and start on this gradient. And if I give it lots of power, what do you think would happen? It would just go a bit spaz. So let's just give it a little bit of power. Let's just jump back in the cab and get rid of that. Well, not yet. Brakes aren't finished going off. There we go. Now they have. Now we just wait and see. Some of the cocks are open, aren't they? Yeah, they're still open. Okay. A little bit more then. There we go. Now you need to keep your cylinder cocks open when you're trying to do this. Yeah, I like this livery too. I like this one and the crimson one, but I have to admit I like this one better. I actually have got one of these locos as an HO model, or the Brits might call it OO. They're marketed here as HO, but they're actually identical in size to the OO versions that you guys get. And it's the only HO model I kept when I switched over to OM30. Sooner or later, it'll move. Give it this tiny bit more steam. Just a tiny bit. Because if you give it lots, you'll just go wheel spin. There we go. Now I'm going to leave the cylinder cocks open. Normally after a couple of revolutions you'd close them because they've done their job in getting rid of any water from the cylinders. But in this case, you actually want to reduce the steam pressure in the steam chest. So you keep them open, because if you close them, you'll just get uncontrollable wheel slip. Signal ahead of us is green, which is good. It's that little one up there. The little tiny one on the right-hand side. It's on the left side of the track, but the right side of the screen. Now you have to resist the temptation to put any more steam on at this point, because bad things will just happen. Just let it crawl. Now that the gradient's starting to come off a little bit, I'll be able to close the cylinder cocks in a moment. There we go. Should be able to close them now. Just let her go. So if you fall into the mistake of going full forwards on the reverser and not opening the cocks, you'll never get it moving there. And later on, so that one's on a 1.2 I think, or a 1.3. Later on there's actually a steeper grade where they do it to you again. They make you stop at a signal. Because they're bastards. Let's get some more steam going now and shut that safety valve up. There we go. Toot for the level crossing. Start bringing our reverser back now and take advantage of the expansion of the steam rather than just using steam pressure. Off we go on our Railtour. Hello, Epic Badger. Ah, the man who calmly talked you through the Cajon downhill run. Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I still have the occasional uncalm moment on Cajon Pass, I have to admit. It's usually when I think, this is going okay, I'll just leave it and go make a cup of tea. And you come back and it's doing 3 million miles an hour down the hill, and you go, uh-oh. Now, in the interest of not letting reality get in the way of a good story, we're going up a pretty steep gradient now. Whoops, wheel spin. They'd probably just use the steam engine to actually drag this thing out of the way and stick it into that platform back there. And I would if I was a signaller. I'd go, hey driver, can you do me a favour, mate? So change you back onto the other line now. And I love that they give you a 15 mile an hour speed limit, because it's not as though you're going to get any faster going up a 1.7% gradient with a steam engine. And off we go into the tunnel. Where are we going today? I forgot. Penzance. There we go. But of course, they're going to stop us somewhere at St. Earth. We're only on a 1% gradient now, so I can probably throttle up a little. Well, there's an interesting view for you. It's always funny what happens with the cameras when you go in a tunnel. Sometimes they do something smart. Oh, I've got my head stuck out. Look at that. Starting to go downhill now, so this is a good opportunity to put some speed in the bank. And I can also bring the reverser back a bit. So let's get some momentum going. Because we're going to need it when we go up the next hill. Kind of funny how the carriages light up the snow and the steam. Light leaking out a little bit. That's okay. Of all the strange things that happen... That might be a bit loud, isn't it? Of all of the strange things that happen in this game, I think we can handle that one. And we're starting to go uphill again now. Let's put on a little bit more steam. I don't worry too much about how much steam I'm using because the magic firebox and the magic boiler won't actually go below some specific pressure of about 180, I think. SIT wants to buy this route in a steam add-on. Just don't think about it at a steam train, so definitely watching your bits to help. They're actually not too hard. You just need to learn to handle them in some of the tricky situations that they get you into in the scenarios. Which they do quite deliberately, of course, because, you know, they want to make it fun. That's the whole point of this pack. I did like the comment from our friends at Rivet on their training video that said, just think of the reverser like a gearbox in the car. Well, these days most of us drive automatics. I think I failed to whistle for a level crossing. That could get me in trouble with the boss. Hello, Richie Peach. How are you? We're just cruising along. We're going up a 1.5% gradient now. So we're more or less holding our own on the speed at the moment, so I'm actually just going to leave the thing alone. Just let it sit. We're doing okay on steam usage. Pressure's not going down too much. You could probably get a bit more speed out of it, but I'm pretty happy with 35 mile an hour for a steam engine. That's pretty good. It's almost impossible to buy a manual here now. Do people in the UK call them manuals, or like Americans who call them stick shifts for no readily apparent reason? I'll just go and snap a branch off a tree and jam it in my car, and it's a stick shift. I'm just weird. Hello, Metra. Hello, David. Bought your Amtrak ticket for Saturday. Excellent. Hopefully you've had a rail fan a bit. I'm actually going up to a country town this weekend called Bendigo. It's more of a country city, actually. It's quite large. Going up there to do a couple of photo shoots with a model that's booked me. It's her birthday. She wants to do a shoot tonight, another one tomorrow. That's all well and good. And I'll probably do some rail fanning when I'm up there because the Southern Short Haul Railroad has got their maintenance depot in that city. AWS telling me we've got a green light coming up. Richie Peach says he can't drive automatic. It feels really unnatural. Richie Peach asks, how good is this add-on? Is it worth it? The scenarios I quite like. So it depends what it costs in your area. So in Australia it's about $15, which I'd kind of put up with. What I particularly am looking forward to is now that we've got some steam engines with AWS and a speedometer, which lets you do this, you can go HUD free properly in the steam engine now. I quite like that. I think that's good. I'm actually going to turn the HUD back on because I'm not used to this route enough, and I want to watch the gradients. Because you still need the HUD for the gradients. We're going up a 1.1 now, so I'm just watching my speed. When it starts to creep down, which it probably will soon, I'm quite amused that it's just sitting there, to be honest. I would have thought it would come down. Another green. So I'm looking forward to take these out on other routes. For example, I want to make a scenario on Redditch Branch on the Birmingham line, because Licky Bank. Of course you want to go up Licky Bank in a steam engine. Who wouldn't? Now that we've got our AWS, we can pretend to be a modern train instead of just an old train appearing on a route. Richie says it's £10 in the UK, so it's a third of the standard route price. And David Park says our tickets are quite expensive. Later, if you want to buy one, 31 starts off at 8, increases a certain number of tickets sold. I never got to ride the Acela. I was booked on it from Philadelphia to New York once, many years ago. I think it might have been 2000, maybe? It was before 9/11. So I think it was probably 2000. And unfortunately, it was replaced by a train hauled by a clapped out old AEM7 that they dug up from somewhere. Because the Acela broke, which made me very sad. I'm still amazed that this thing's maintaining this speed with the reverser set on 28. I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to just get slower and slower and slower, but it's actually slowly getting faster. That's not what I expected. But that's okay. I don't mind. It's like I don't mind bridges that don't go anywhere. Like that one. Now we're getting lots faster because we're going downhill, so let's put some momentum in the bank. Because running a steam engine, because they're not that powerful, it is all about getting as much momentum as you can on the downhill runs, so that when you hit the next uphill run, you've got a flying start and you've got a chance to get up there. Just got to watch the speed a little though, because we are getting just a little quick for this engine. We'll stick under about 55. It's popping through here. SIT says he drives a cousin's auto car. It felt weird. What are you meant to do with your left foot? Just leave it sitting there on the floor. You could pretend there's a clutch if you want to. Richie Peach thought it was weird too. David Park's going from Baltimore to Union. That's a fair trip. And you want me to go up Taranda Ramp with a steam engine? You know, we could try. Don't know how I'll go. We could certainly try. I suppose you want it to be in the snow as well. Yep, we're going back uphill now, so let's... too much. Don't get too carried away. There we go. Ah, come on. Come on, you can do it. Get a sustained wheel slip and your fireman will hate you, because guess where all the fire goes? It gets sucked all the way through the boiler and blown out the smokestack. Woof. All the fines get sucked out of it. And given the fines are mostly what's burning, you don't really want that, because you get all these horrible gaps between the large lumps too that let in lots and lots of cold air. Stop it with the wheel slip, train. I'm just going to ignore you. Don't do it. There it goes, it's settling down now. Oh, maybe not. Kind of holding their own. Let's see how it goes. Just leave it on 28. I'm surprised. Still. Tractor. Steal a tractor? Can't even get over there. I've got the invisible wall. I always love it when you go on the outside camera and end up behind an invisible wall. Metro wants to see Saluda. There has been steam run up Saluda. There's a video on YouTube of a fairly famous run where they actually stalled and managed to get it going again. That was a fairly big deal. Yes, 2000. What an interesting year. David Parks have changed the whole contest just to Acela locos. No, they changed the whole contest. I don't think the other locos are capable of hauling the Acela stuff. And Dave says he wasn't going to get this, but he won £30 on a free bet in the horses, so he'll get it tomorrow. Ah, fair enough. Well, there's so much stuff releasing at the moment, because we've got the Koblenz Mines route. We've got this. We've got Niddeletaban coming up soon. I think I said that right. Niddeletaban. I got some coaching from a German friend of mine who was pretty sure it was Niddeletaban. And Metro wants me to apply more power on reverser. Why? It's going up the hill fine by itself. I don't know why it is, but it is. It shouldn't be. It should be having a hard time at that gradient, but it's clearly not, so I'm just going to leave it alone. David asks, what do I like about Mines to Koblenz? The scenery's... Oops, should have whistled there. The scenery's quite cool, so I quite enjoy running it. It's just nice to look at stuff. I think we've gotten into some fanciful point of steam physics here where the game's just doing something silly, but that's okay. Because what I'm doing now really shouldn't work, but it clearly is. So the scenery is really cool. There's a lot of stopping surfaces. I much prefer stopping surfaces when I'm playing to long runs. Quite like that. There's some scenarios that are a little bit hard, which I also like. I have to slow down to 40 soon, so let's just cut off. Which of course makes the safety valve go pop. They are hideously noisy things. Just put a little bit of brake on. A little bit more. A little bit more. That should do. Is that going to bring us down? It's trying to. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Catching up with things. Yes, Metra saw the video of 611. It's a good video. It's worth watching. I was very, very impressed with that driver. That was some clever driving. Really, really good work. He knows his shit, that bloke. $11 miles so they stop us on a hill in the snow. Good on them. And let's start speeding up again now because we're allowed to shortly, so let's just start building it up. Because we're not far until we're allowed to. Start by being a little bit naughty. Bit of wheel slip there. I'm still amused that 28's just working, because, you know, it shouldn't. But that's okay. Richie Peach is hyped for Midland Mainline. Travels on a 158 every day. Well, I hope it lives up to your expectations. SIT is also excited for Midland Mainline route, which is cool. There's another one that's coming out soon. I don't think they've announced a date yet, have they? Niddeletaban's release stream, or preview stream, is tomorrow, which in about, I don't know, 20 hours time, something like that. So look out for that. So I assume that means it'll come out next week, because generally the releases follow a week after the preview stream, usually. And also there's 2 sales on at the moment too for TSW. PlayStation's got one, and Steam's got one, which is cool. David says this is running faster than what 150 could do. Yeah, probably. Steam engines have a lot of power. They take a long time to get up to speed, but once they're there, they can usually stay there. It's getting there that's the hard bit, because they have lots and lots of torque, but they don't have that much What's the best way to put it? Resilience, I guess. TC banging his head on a tree, followed by a bridge. And Richie, yeah, they did say it was before the next road map. Metra asks, why do engineers/drivers keep the throttle open when the brakes are applied in a steam engine? A couple of reasons. The first one is so you don't slip. Because big drivers makes it very easy to slip. Oh, I know what that is. That's my work phone. They're probably wondering why I'm not in a meeting, because it starts right about now. They go, where is he? And they've forgotten I'm on holidays today. That's okay. Yeah, so next roadmap would be about the first or the second week of April. So yeah, what have we got left? 2 weeks to go. So next two to 3 weeks, we'll get the other two routes, I would guess. And just in celebration, where is it? Where's it gone? I've lost it. Just in celebration of the other route, there's sort of a castle. Had to. Green again, 7 miles to the red signal. Not that we know it's red yet, but of course I know it is, because I've played this before. PlayStation sales just ended. Oh, that's sad. Didn't last long, did it? Mr. Coaster, hello. In your opinion, Dovetail reuses too many locomotives. We need more variety for loco add-ons and route add-ons, which is why I won't get the Steam Tour. I don't have Cornwall, and I have the LMS already. Oh, that's fair enough, mate. Everybody has their opinions about how things work. Would I like to see more new stuff? Sure. But I also get why old stuff gets reused, because while they are developing a lot of new stuff, they have to keep cash flow coming in somehow. This one's actually built by combination of Rivet and the Preserve team, by the way. So this was something they were doing in between routes. It was actually made quite a while ago, but it didn't get released for whatever reason. I think I better slow down a little bit, or this is going to get embarrassing soon. I'm going to launch the damn thing. That should be enough. With the large ejector closed, the brake vacuum should get re-established fairly slowly. Maybe it's not. I was hoping it would help me slow down a little bit more than that. I'd love to be able to bleed off the steam brake, but you can't. You can only put it on more. Are we going to get round this corner at this speed? This is an interesting question. I think just. It did look a little bit like it was leaning to the right then. I think I was a little bit lucky then. Just a little bit. Brakes off. Let gravity take care of the rest. I do want to get them off actually, because we're going uphill. And we have to slow to 50, so actually let's close it again. Let's just let that keep slowing down. Got gravity and a little bit of brakes on. Catching up with chat. Dave wishes the Midland Main Line went to Sheffield. That'd be cool. Go buy a knife. Or some cutlery and knives and forks and stuff. David Park says he got Frankfurt to Koblenz in Train Simulator Classic, so you can enjoy the modern version and the older version in TSW. Indeed. They do reuse the stuff they've got from TSC a little bit to... They don't reuse the actual bits they've made, but they do reuse all the reference material they gathered to do the first route. Of course, soon we're going to be allowed to accelerate again. That's okay. 4 miles to the signal we have to stop at, and it's a finicky bloody signal too. You've got to get up awfully close to it. Very annoying. Power on, little black dude. Off you go. Ah, his safety valve's gone off, finally. Would they really make flashing lights on a pedestrian crossing like that? I've often wondered that. Catching up again. David said, "Oh, we've done that one." Metra said the independent brake bailed off. Well, you don't have an independent brake on this particular locomotive. Well, actually, no, it's not quite true. You do. You actually do, because you can apply the steam brake yourself if you want to. Don't really know why you'd want to, but you can. Normally, when you're running like this, by the way, and you put the throttle all the way back to 0. You open up your cylinder cocks and just pop on a tiny amount of steam, because that just helps keep your cylinders warm, especially in weather like this. In this particular case, I'm going to use a little bit of brake as well, because we're going down a pretty steep hill and we're getting over speed again. I know this usage of the brakes seems strange, but I'm told it gives a smoother ride for the passengers when they're using vacuum brakes. I need to start slowing down anyway, because I've got that signal coming soon, so I need to get a bit under control for that, although we will be going up a very steep hill right before it. So that's fine. Just let the brakes come off slowly. That'll just help keep us under control. Catching up with brakes, there's a Loco bundle somewhere in between two. There is, yes. I actually don't know a lot about the Loco bundle, to be honest, because there's been so much stuff that I haven't been involved in betas for absolutely everything, because there's just been so much happening. So I concentrated on Nibbler Taban and Mines Koblenz, or Koblenz Mines, depending on which way you look at it. So that's where all my work went. Richie Peach says the PlayStation sale was a bit crap. That's very sad. And he's hoping to see a sale on VRO and EDG soon. And SIT agrees that it was a bit rubbish compared to the Steam sale. Well, that's sad. You guys do miss out on quite a lot of sales on PlayStation, which is not the coolest thing. I do get that they can't actually put sales on as much as they'd like to. Stand behind the yellow line that you can't see because it's covered in snow. Thank you. Gratuitous bridge shots. One of those to Steam. Too fast, but that's okay, because I want to slow down anyway. I have got the valve closed, haven't I? I have, good. Because we've got a mile to a red signal. And while we're going downhill now, we're going to be going uphill shortly. First warning. Thank you, Mr. AWS. I don't want to let my speed come down too much, because I am going to have to go up a hill before I get to this signal, if I remember rightly. Hello, Pharaoh Mero. Welcome. David Park says locomotives are reused because they take a while to make from scratch and only a limited amount of time. Nah. And you hope you don't get mugged in Baltimore. I hope I haven't left this braking just a tad too late, to be honest with you. I am just slightly worried at the moment. Just slightly worried. I don't know, I'm going to be okay, I think. Yep, it's going to be fine. In fact, I'm going to stop early. Damn it. Can't stop early with this signal. This is something a signalman would only do if he hated the driver, by the way. You would absolutely have to hate a driver to do this to them. Come on, creep up to it. I need to get less than 10. That'll do us. Because straight away, it's going to go green. See? Straight away. And that's the signalman in the box going. Alright then, now the fun bit. So we put the reverser, let's go up to about 50, a little bit less I think. I'll just adjust that level with the keyboard, I think, since the rail driver doesn't want to. It's fine. Cylinder cocks are open. So we'll release the brake, start giving it a little bit of steam. Let's get up to about 10, that should be okay. Let's see if we can get this to happen. You've got to be very careful, or it's just going to go spin, 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 spin. A bit like Ayrton Senna crashing into a wall on fire. Did I say that? Surely, it's been 25 years. Surely we can make that joke now. Is it going to do it? I think it's going to do it. While it's doing that, I'll catch up on the chat. Richie Peach says they do have flashing pedestrian crossings. We do have some too, but they're in suburbs. Out in the country, we don't bother. Mr. Coaster Coaster feels that in 5 to 10 years, simulation games will only be available for rich people. Interesting thought. But why do you think that? Mr. Coaster Coaster also says operation of the brake handle LMS 8F must be awkward as hell. I don't think so. I've watched lots of videos of people driving these things, and I've chatted with a guy. Oops, I closed them too early. I might have buggered this up. We're going to go backwards now. Alright, let's stop the thing. Come on, you can stop now. Honest. Oi! Stop. See, I closed the cocks, and look what happened. Let's try it again. Up to about 10. Release the brakes. No, 12's too high. And 9 will do. Just wait for the brakes to come off. And at that point, the signalman is in his box going, got him again. Yep. Oh well. Back to the chat. We'll just let that sit there. It'll just sit there. It'll be happy. Where did we get to? Simon's GoPro videos asks, are you playing a scenario? I am. It's the Old Troubles Modern Fixes or whatever. Whatever it's called. What is it called? Old Troubles with Modern Solutions. There we go. We're just waiting for this to leave now. I might have just nip the throttle up just a little because we're starting to roll back again. I think 13's going to be too much, but I'll just let it sit. Let's see how it goes. Oh, it might do it. Might be okay. It might not slip. It's looking promising. So I haven't got the reverser all the way forwards deliberately. And I've got the cylinder cocks open deliberately. Richie Peach says, yeah, they can control how much to discount. It's like pre-RO is 30% now on Steam, but only be 10% when sale on the next PS sale. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to understand the mentality behind PlayStation sales. I do think you get a bit of a raw deal, though. Mr. Coaster Coaster would imagine a narrow-gauge deckless steam engine where you're crammed in between the boiler and the cab wall. That's pretty much what I fire. I have about 2 feet of room, if that, between the coal chute and the firebox door. It's a very, very small space. It's, we even use short-handled shovels because we have to, which makes it hard to get all the way to the front of the firebox. It is also a very small firebox. It's only 9 square feet, 3 feet by 3 feet. It's actually 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. So it's actually a cube. But there's a big arch in the middle of that. And it's a very big boiler for a narrow gauge engine, so it's actually really hard to maintain steam pressure. These things, comparatively, would be fairly easy to fire. I have the hiccups again. I should have some tea. I made this tea 40 minutes ago and I haven't drunk it. Completely forgot it was here. Now at this point I'm just going to leave this sitting this way because it's slowly accelerating. The gradient's coming off now, but I have to remember that my carriages are still going up the steep hill bit down the back here. So they're still on the steep bit. Once we get past that dwarf, I'll pick up some speed. And then what do you say? Are we going to put this thing on Licky Bank? Should we put it on Licky Bank? Or should we put it on Taranda Ramp? Someone wanted that. Maybe we'll do that. It'll be the black one, because the crimson one doesn't support Raildriver, which makes me sad. Mr. Coaster Coaster, please don't apologise. No need for it. I don't want to add more reverser. It'll slip. You just want it to slip. Now it should be safe to throttle up. At least a little. Make it work a bit. Fireman's GoPro video says the next PlayStation sale is Easter. Well, it's not too far away, I guess, but I hope it's a good one for you. Mr. Coaster Coaster says he always hates it when you have to stop at a signal and right away green. Yeah, it's deliberate. It is deliberate. It's just to make you work for your money. There we go. We're still going up a pretty heavy gradient. So it's going to take a little while to build up speed, but then we have the long downhill run to the beach. Should be able to ease the throttle up. I can probably close the cocks by now. It should be fine. Bit of slip there. Let's just let that sit, because I've got a little bit of slip, so I'll just let it sit. Let's bring the reverser back a bit. Because I need to balance my steam usage, because I am using way too much right now, even though it's a steep gradient, I kind of have to. Catching up with chat again. Ricky Peach says, let's hope for some good deals. Yeah, it'd be good for you guys to get some good deals. I would feel happy for PlayStation people. Mind you, I shouldn't say I should feel happy for PlayStation people, because, you know, there's one over there, and it's got a PlayStation. It's just sitting over there. There's a PS4 downstairs, which has got Train Sim World 3 on it. It's just one of the default packs, and the Christmas train. I got it for my nieces to play. The older one, who I thought would like it, who's 10 years old, I was kind of got it for her. She played it for about 10 seconds and then walked away to do something. And the little one, who's only 7, you know, she kept playing it for ages. She quite liked it, so I was surprised at that. I'm going to try something. I'm going to bring it back to 28 again. No, not 21. Come on, Raildriver. Accurate thing. I want to see if this accelerates. I'm kind of curious. Maybe 28's some magic point in physics. We'll see. Dave Randall wants a licky back. Simon's GoPro video says don't drink and drive. Hello, Artful. And Simon says you need it at 75 to be able to move. No! If you're at 75, it will slip, because I'm in the snow. So, dry rail, yeah, I'd agree with you. I'd put it up to 75, for sure. Mr. Coaster Coaster says, apparently in winter steam locomotives cabs become cold. The outside tank is cold. Yeah, brass monkey. Got some curtains to retain heat, although in summer it's hell on earth. I find, yes, in summer, when I fired on a 38-degree day, and it just about killed me. And that's not an exaggeration. It was really bad. I was lucky there were 2 firemen on that day, because the other guy fired most of the way home. And then I took over again at the second last station. Second last station, and fired us back to the last one. That was a hell of a day. So yes, in summer they're horrible. It was probably, on that day it would have easily been 65, might have even hit 70 degrees inside the cab. So you try and stay outside as much as you can. You just stand on the footboard outside the cab. Which you can't do on this engine, but you can on our little narrow gauge ones, because we've got footboards on the outside, because they're hot. But in winter, they're beautiful to work in. They're nice and warm, they're comfortable. So I would imagine in snow territory where it's, you know, -5, -10 degrees Celsius, yeah, they're going to get a bit cold, because to be able to see, like if we pop in here, if I shut this, for example, that would be your reality in wintertime, and you're going to have to stick your head out there. So, yeah, you're going to have this open, so it would be quite cold in winter on Tippet. Whereas our locos will be running at, You know, probably the worst we'd ever run at is 0 degrees. And it's quite warm, it's quite pleasant. Now picking up some speed well. I don't actually want to pick up too much speed though, so... It does look like 28 might be a magic spot in the physics on this thing. I wonder if that's intentional. Remember that. If you want to drive it an easy way, put it on 28 for the reverser. Yeah. Dave Randall says you don't get many sales on Xbox either. It is kind of sad, isn't it? And Patriotal61 says he got West Coast Local on the last space station deal. That's good. And Simon's GoPro Videos says he bought all his routes on day one, so no sale prices for you. Yeah, it's a hard thing, isn't it? Do you get sales? Do you wait for a sale or do you buy it? It's a really hard thing, and I suppose it comes down to how much you want it, doesn't it? Could you get windscreen wipers on a steam engine? Yes, some of them do. The Southern Pacific cab forwards have got windscreen wipers because they look remarkably like a diesel. There goes our safety valve again. And a pleasant noise from the AWS. Just let my speed sit up around there. I'm okay with that. We'll survive. So no wipers on this one. What do I think of the new route that came out today? Mine's Kablins. I do like it. It's actually I obviously can't give you details about beta testing. One thing I will say is from the moment I got my hands on Mine's Kablins, I liked it. It's the first one that I've got that just didn't have massive problems during the dev cycle. So the people that built that route were doing an awesome job, and I think it bodes well for the future. It did have some issues, but nothing huge, nothing horrible. And that's the first time I've experienced that. Letting this thing slow down because we have a series of speed lowerings coming up. Come down to the beach. We are pretty much at the beach level now. Slight upgrade. You'd be able to see the beach if it wasn't covered in snow. To me, this always just seems wrong to see a beach covered in snow. I have no idea whether it really happens or not. You guys can tell me whether it happens or not. Do British beaches get covered in snow? To me, as an Aussie, it just seems like a totally wrong concept that a beach could have snow on it. Mr. Coast to Coast has said some dudes that work in Colorado said that the driver would be shivering and bundled up in jackets while the fireman is still in a loose vest. Fireman does work very hard. At the start of the day, I'll be wearing a cotton duster jacket on top of my shirt, and before we've even gotten up the first hill, that's gone, and it won't come back on until lunchtime when I'm outside the loco having a rest. We have lunchtime at our halfway station. Patriotal60 wonders how hard this will be without assisted firemen. I don't really look forward to in-game firing, to be honest. When they do bring the manual fireman out, I will definitely beta test it, because I will make sure it's, well, as much as I can make sure, I'll make sure it's just a reasonable fit for reality. Let's just bring this to about 40. I was going to go 50, but 40 will do. We need to slow down for this upcoming 15. We're not very far from it now. So when the manual firing does come out on this train, I'll get deeply involved in testing it. This and the Fowler that's coming out with the other little route, Peak Forest, which will be cool. I'll probably never play it that way, to be honest. Is if you actually made the firing proper, so it was fully accurate, no one would be able to play it without 3 months of training. Because that's just what it takes to learn. Mr. Coaster Coaster said he does manual firing for this game. He just opened the fire door and that's it. Yeah, it actually doesn't work, to be honest with you. Even if you put it in manual mode, it's still actually in automatic fireman. So yes, you can open the door and it will let you change the blower, which this thing shuts. By the way, when you're running a steam loco, you'd actually never have the blower closed. You might have it only cracked, but you never close it. For the simple reason that every time you open this door, your cab will fill up with flames and smoke if you haven't got the blower going. That's just life on a steam engine. And Simon says, I hope I packed my hot water bottle with that window being open. It'd still be a cold water bottle. Not so much as the driver, I suppose. There we go, we're at the right speed. Penzance coming up. That rusty notion gear still irritates me. Art people, grr. I swear they saw a picture of an abandoned steam locomotive and went, that's what motion gear should look like. But no, it doesn't. Dave Randall says, yes, beaches do get snow. That's cool. One of these days I will have to visit the UK. I've never actually been. I do have UK relatives, so I should. At least I've got somewhere to stay, so I don't have to cop up for hotels and things. Someone at my doorbell. This is difficult. Do I go answer the door? I'll have to go answer the door. Took the chair. I'll be right back. Sorry. Sorry about that. There's a UPS man. I had a parcel from my son, who is of course still in bed, because that's what he does. Coming into a happy little Penzance now. Ready for a beautiful summer's day. We can chuck on our Speedos and bikinis and head off to the beach to bask in the sun. Surely that's what we're going to do. I do like the reflectiveness of this livery. I think it's really nice. I hate to think what it does on Gen 8 consoles, but it's really nice to look at. What else have we got in our chat today? Mr. Coaster Coaster says, how about this? A steam firing tutorial for advanced firing. Look, I'll probably do one when the time comes. Even though I'll probably never actually play it that way myself. The reason why I don't think it's worth playing manual firing in the game, by the way, is it simply cannot be realistic, because if it was truly realistic, it would be too hard to play. Because you don't just chuck coal in the firebox. You've got to get it in the right place. You've got to build your fire in the right shape. You have to have the right depth in the right places of the firebox for the locomotive. You've got to make sure that there's no holes in the coal floor. Otherwise cold air comes through. And it makes a huge difference. If you get a hole this big, it'll stop your steam production almost entirely. And sometimes you'll be travelling along and you've built a beautiful bank and you think it's going to go great. You think you've got enough to go in there and get up the hill to the next station, and you get a wheel slip and it blows a massive hole in your fire and you lose all the steam pressure, and the driver's cursing you because they want the steam pressure to recover from the wheel slip. You're cursing the driver because he had a wheel slip and killed your fire. And you just gotta sort it out. On our railway, all the people are actually really cool. I think I should stop. Maybe. That'll do. Lovely. So it sounds like we want to take this thing up Licky Bank. I think we can do that, you know. I won't put any other trains on the scenario. I'll just stick the train at Reddick and we'll go up the hill. See how it goes. Metra's talking about all sorts of things. That's okay. Artful says, as I said in Joe's live stream earlier, looking forward to the diesel German Pacer. Make a UK livery for it. Well, why not? Why not indeed? Why wouldn't you do that? You know, I'm pretty sure I have unlocked the doors. Just saying. Just saying. Go open this guard's door. There you go. Get in there, love. Off you go. Those people are going, what's this grubby steam train doing here? Doors closed, and that'll be the end of this one. Let's spin around here so we can see it for the end. What are those? Why not? Whoop. Someone walked into me. Is the scenario actually going to end? What's that thing? Ah. Okay. No wonder it didn't end. It wants me to do something else. Oh, I know why. So the diesel can come and get the train. Because for some funny reason they don't want you to back out. There we go. Done deal. Let's see how you performed. You want me to put it at Bromsgrove? Is it Bromsgrove towards the city? Yes, you do have to build up under the door, Crazy Kelly. You very much do. That's it's actually quite hard to get coal in at that point because there's so much draft there that it just blows you away. So we want to start at Bromsgrove. Why not? Have I even got it loaded? I do. Great new. Why have I got scenarios called SPAD and SPAD 2? How weird. I have no idea why I have these things sometimes. I only put one train on it, I think. Does anybody know which way I have to put it? Bromsgrove Platform 1 or Platform 2? Now I've got to sit here waiting. I'm guessing it's maybe Platform 1. I'll just wait. I think Platform 1, kinda. Actually, let's just choose that, because if I can choose Birmingham... Kings Norton, that's the wrong way, isn't it? So Bromsgrove Platform 2. Blake Street? Litchfield City? No, that's the wrong way too. Can't I actually do it from here? Actually, no, that's the right way, isn't it? Lickfield Trent Valley, that's the right way, because that's the other end of the line. I think this is the right way. I think. Am I right? I'm not sure. Ah, let's do it. That's all the way to the other end, though. That's boring. Okay. It'll do. Where are we going to go to? We don't have to go very far, but we'll just say go to the end. I'm not going to drive it all the way to the end, by the way. And just for the fun of it, let's have a few stops. As my phone goes bonkers. We'll take it to... We'll drive it to the Cadbury factory and we'll call it quits there. We'll get some chocolate. That sounds like a nice thing to do, doesn't it? Even though the service is going all the way through. Let's pick the black one because the other one doesn't work with a rail driver. We want some loaded coaches. Black Jubilee. It's weird how you have to choose it, because you choose black and then you have to choose black over here, or this is the old one, this is the green one. I want loaded. Do I want 5 or do I want 7? Why not? And let's make it early in the morning so it looks nice. Is player controlled? Yes. We'll just put the one train on, because we just want to see if we can get up the hill. That's all we want to do. Steam on the Licky. Play. Patriotl61 expects me to fail. Oh, you're a meanie. Probably right. Especially since I put 7 coaches on it. It's a bit of a dumb thing to do. You know what I didn't do? You know what I didn't do? Let's just hop out of here. Oops. Let's go back to the main menu. Because what I have to do... Oh, that phone. Shut up. What I'll go to trains, choose a route. Let's try the trick. Timetable. 323. Because I want to set the weather. So I want to go from Bromsgrove to Litchfield. And I want to do custom weather. And I want snow. That is so annoying, phone. Stop making all that noise. No, not lightning storm. Rainstorm. Where's snow? Oh, hang on. January, December. Now I'll be able to have snow, won't I? Because this should, in theory, snowstorm. This should set it for the scenario. Hello, British Ace. What I'm trying to do is force this thing to have a snowstorm. All right, good. Now I'll quit out of here and go back to my scenario, because in theory, my scenario will now be in the snow. In theory. I don't know if it'll work. I haven't tried this for ages. Play. Ah, bastard. Fine. Let me get the directory. I'll just send that. I shall bug that, which we just made it explode. All right, we're going to do it without snow. Come on, hurry up. Give me your game back. I don't like that. All right, we're going to try Licky Bank without snow because, you know, that didn't go so well. That's my team yakking with each other. That's my work phone making all that noise. And it's not going to shut up, is it? My team are probably all going, where is he? Where is that idiot? I bet you he's driving trains. Because we have a team meeting now, which I normally run. I did tell him I wasn't working today. Oh well, I'll figure it out. Has anybody noticed that it takes longer to load since about 2 updates ago? Get this thing to shut up. There we go. That should do it. Does anybody notice it takes longer to load now? I think it does. Oops, I want to go to Creators Club. Let's try and run that scenario again, and let's hope it doesn't explode this time. That was sad. Oh, that worked. All right. Well, we'll just put up with it being what it is. We have our little black one. And we're going to try and get up the big bloody hill. Should be good. Should be good. Do you know, I don't think I don't use this branch much. I always go to Reddick. I don't know why. I just kind of like it, I suppose. Ah, well. Let's start getting ready to go anyway. Some of the cocks are already open. The reverse of the full forwards. Hello, lack of firemen. I guess we're firing. We'll just do the magic firing thing. I'll let it take care of itself. Almost time to finish loading passengers and shut the doors. Then you get in. I'm curious. Are there any passengers in here? Oh, there are. Wow. That's so unusual when you've got your own scenario that you actually get passengers. Most of the time you don't. Kerplunk. Alright then. Let's turn on AWS. Brakes off. A little bit of steam. And off we go into the wild blue yonder. Eventually. When the brakes finish releasing. Oh, it's time to wake up. It's moving. Do you know, in the bright sun, that motion gear annoys me even more. Oh well. That's life, isn't it? Sleepy, sleepy. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. There we go. But the people who usually watch my channel who don't know British Ace, go check his channel out. I think everybody on this one actually does watch you, though. Maybe there's a couple that don't. But definitely go and have a look at British Ace's channel. There's lots and lots and lots of excellent streams. And I mean lots and lots and lots of excellent streams. It is nice to see the Blood and Custard coaches, isn't it? You hardly ever see them. I was recording a video to do something else the other day because I got into a discussion with someone about whether 2 or 3 had more or less pauses, because I think 3 is better than 2 in that respect. But he was quite adamant it's not, so I was recording on Southeastern High Speed. And I have to say, I hardly ever get the train bro, and every single train I picked up was the train bro. It was just bizarre. Now we've got the fun bit. I think I'll leave the reversal where it is, trying to climb up a 2.7% gradient. Let's see what happens. Steam pressure going down, down, down. Mr. Coaster Coaster says, do you have the West Somerset Railway? Take a steamer on that. The Class 08 can barely even do it. This is really struggling. Like, really struggling. Do we try the Magic 28 and just see what it does? I'm curious. I don't think this will work, but I want to try it. Wouldn't it be funny if it worked? No, it's not going to. It's going to stall. Alright, let's take it up into the 50s. Yeah, I shouldn't have tried that 28. I'm losing this. At this point you're thinking, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Steam. Reverser. Come on, fireman. Work your guts out. This is going well, isn't it? You know what? I'm going to have to start again and go for another running start, I think. 3%. Kind of holding our 1.4 miles an hour, but that's not good. This is doing horrible things to the poor fireman's fire. This massive blast every revolution. We're accelerating. And we're making steam. What the? Ah. Lost it. I spoke too soon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to start again. I really don't. Let's try. Will I be able to get it to move? A bit more. I'm keeping the cylinder cocks open deliberately. Ooh, we're starting to move. Come on. Not sure if I dare close them yet. That was a bad idea. Alright, let's stop and start her again. With the guard down the back's going, I knew he didn't have enough speed. Is it going to move? Brakes are off now. Brakes should be off in the whole train. Give it a tiny bit more. It's moving. It is moving. Whoa. I can't set all the way back into the station, can I? I've got 100 yards. Let's set back to the bottom of the bank and see how we go. Let's see how we go. Can I get all the way to the bottom without going through that red signal? That is the question. Still on the very steep gradient. I think it looks like I actually can get back into the station. Is there a signal come out of the station though? Am I going to trap myself here? Oops, that key. No, there's no signal to come out. I'll be okay. I'm going to set back as far as I can. And then we're going to go full fang and see if we can get it up the hill this time. Sorry, I'm not really paying much attention to the chat at the moment. I think there's a signal at the end of the platform, so I don't want to go all the way in because I won't be able to get out again. The other end. Horrible noisy safety valve. Come down a bit. That'll do. Let's stop it there. At least we're not on the points. Will this work? Off you go, little train. No, don't go slippy on me. You're not even going up a steep hill. Stop slipping. Drop some sand. Will that help? Clearly not. Imagine doing this for real in the days of Steam. These passengers are going to be late to Green Mr. Coaster Coaster. I get away with this. How about you? I need more speed. More speed! Oh, safety valve closed, finally. Let's see how we go. I hate to think how much steam I'm using right now, but let's see how we go. Catching up with chat. We have British Ace in. Mr. Coaster, I covered that one. Yes, losing lots of speed, dying. DB628 is definitely a German pacer. I haven't actually heard the final sound of the 628 yet, because it, last time I was in the beta, it wasn't actually had no sound. This isn't going well, is it? I'm already slowing down. I'm going to be vaguely surprised if we even keep going. You know what the next trick will be? I'm going to leave some coaches behind. We can't get up this time. I'll drop a coach off. No, we're not going up. And I even get into the uncouple thing while it's still moving. No, I'm not going to be able to do this, am I? Yes! Accelerating. It's probably going to get a wheel slip, but it's accelerating. Some of the passengers are never going to get to Barnt Green because they're sitting back there going, what the actual? They left us behind. What a bastard. This, by the way, is a legitimate railway move. It's called a stall and divide. So if you can't get your train over a hill, you stop, you secure whatever carriages you're going to leave behind, and you put a flagman on behind them, and you cut them off and leave them there. And you take your train up the hill, and then you come back and get the other ones. It is a legit thing to do. It's very uncommon these days, though. Very, very unusual these days. Patriodal says, this in snow would be a no-go. Yeah, I suspect possibly. Mr. Coast to Coaster says, you wish you could add a couple of bankers in custom scenarios. That would be good. It would be good to have a banker. I think in real life they did run bankers up here. Didn't they have trios of 060s, I think, that they put on the back and push it up the hill and then they come back down again? Mr. Coast to Coaster says, yes, I should be fired and result in a court case. Forget him. So it can get up the hill with 5. I wonder if it could get up the hill with 6. It's only just getting up the hill, by the way. It's struggling. A lot. Oh well. What can you do? What's the map think of leaving the train back there? Oh yeah. I suppose that signal in the station will just stay red. Fair enough too. I'm glad I didn't try it in the snow. That would have just been foolish. You know what? At least it makes this easy. Anybody can do a cam shot at that speed. Except it's stuck on something. Bloody pole. There we go. There you go, Colonel Cam. Shortest bridge shot. If it ever gets to the bridge. Will it? Dunno. It's working hard. Stick that on Steam. We'll see if anybody picks up where it is. I learned something about the screenshot system. It actually renders in full 4K. I'd never realised that before. I looked at the picture and went, look at the resolution of that. Mr. Coast to Coaster says the game crashing was a warning not to do this. And the game's going, are you nuts? You can't do this. You never get up that hill with one steam engine. It's a pity this thing's got vacuum brakes, because that means you can't even double head it. In Train Sim World, the way they connect trains together, they use a concept in the simulator called jumper cables, but steam engines don't have them. So there's no way to set up a double header. Hopefully one day that will come. We are losing speed. Sitting on 6.8. Chuffy chuffy. Does anyone remember how far it is to the top of the bank? It's about 3 miles, I think, something like that. Oh, you think this should be the next 4-up challenge, Patriol, at 61? Get a steam train up Licky Bank. Good. Wouldn't be the fastest challenge in the world, but we've picked up half a 0.1 of a mile an hour. Mr. Coast to Coast has just discovered that he has an appliance outlet in the middle of his living room. Well, there you go. 2 miles. Thank you, Dave. On the little railway I fire on, we take 11 coaches, which is 110 real tons, 220 short tons if you use American short tons, and it's a little tiny 262 tank locomotive. We run for 2.6 miles up a 3.3% grade. And then if you go to the other end of the line, there's a, I believe, 6-mile run, and that one's 3%. And to pass your fireman's exam, you have to get to the top of the Gembrook Bank. Which I can say is no mean feat. It is very difficult. That's where the passengers are sitting back in there going, this is a fast rail tour. This is grouse, this is. Now, if this was an AI, it'd be doing 50 mile an hour. Just screaming up the hill. It does take some firing, Dave. It really does. It's a lot of shoveling. Uh-oh. Losing speed again. Picking up, losing, picking up, losing. Alright. It's holding it. It's got it. It's particularly hard in our locos because it's a very big boiler and a very little firebox. It's very unforgiving. You can't, just a little thing wrong and you're stuffed. Quite enjoy it. I like the challenge. Is it going to crash? It's stuck. Alright, survived. Don't know what it was doing there. Just having a good think for a moment. It's one of those interesting days today. Before last night's stream, both OBS and Stream Deck updated themselves. And this morning I turned the machine on and bloody Windows updates itself and ruins my entire sound setup. So I had to recreate all of that in the 2 minutes I had before I started the stream. Stuck on grass. Oh, stuck on a sheep. What do you think, sheep? What do you think, sheep shadow? Are we getting up the hill? Ah, hello, strange angular sheep. Is it gonna make it? What do you think? Need a screenshot with a strange angular sheep and a steam train? I think we do. Why not? There we go. Something to put on Dovetail Live. It's accelerating again, isn't it? At this moment, I'd be thinking I should put it in full forward gear, because we're not even using all that much steam, which amazes me. The physics is clearly not correct at this point. Because sitting on almost full forward with 100% throttle, your steam pressure would be going... to coast, I loves how all the animals in the game are taxidermies. With varying levels of detail. That was a strange angular sheep back there. There's some very high resolution cows on... Which one is it? Spirit of Steam has some very high resolution cows. Far is it to the next station? Getting there. We're getting there. Oh dear, Patriel 61. You think he would woolly get up there? Woolly woolly. So anybody else that tries this, 7 is a mistake, 5 seems achievable. I suspect if I got a good blast out of the station completely with 5 cars, might get up here at 10 mile an hour, which would be fairly respectable. Oh, that's the other part of the exam on my railway. Is not only do you have to get the train to the top of the bank, you have to get to the train to the top of the bank at 10 mile an hour. Because our railway top speed is 15 mile an hour. It's not a fast railway. It's narrow gauge, 2'6". But no, the driver has to be able to maintain 10 mile an hour up the hill. And then you got to get it back down again without blowing off all the way down. Because they don't like that. Because as people have probably noticed, the safety valve's rather loud, which means the driver can't actually hear their brakes applying and releasing, and they definitely need the sound. Ooh, we've picked up another 0.1. This is going okay. I shouldn't say that though, should I? It's just going to go terribly any second now. It's going to lose its feet. Blast its fire out through the stack. Another gratuitous bridge shot coming up. Let's do one from this side this time. So. Drink and drive again. Of my rather cold tea. I'm impressed that so many of you are still here watching this thing struggle up the hill. You, like me, clearly have a need to know if it can. That bridge got holes in it. It does, look at that. The girders don't line up. Small engineering issue, we'll just ignore that. I think I can. Surprised Metra hasn't gone. Thomas, the tank engine could do it. Crazy Killer says, now imagine if this did have manual firing, you needed to consider the water level when cresting the top of the hill. Yes, that would be an interesting simulation, because that's what you have to do in real life. 3% grade. I mean, these ones aren't like ours, but you'd want a water level at least halfway. You're probably better off with nearly 3/4 as you hit the top of the hill, so that when you crest and it drops down to 1/4, you're still okay. If people are wondering what Crazy Killer's talking about, this level that's shown here, the bottom of the gauge glass, is notionally where the crown sheet of the boiler is. And if the crown sheet is not fully covered in water, then when the water, it basically gets red hot, it could fail. And if it does fail, you will basically be dead. if it doesn't immediately fail when the water sloshes back onto it, then it will fail. And you'll get what's called a blevy, which is a boiling liquid vapor explosion. And essentially all of the water in your boiler, so a boiler this size, I'm going to hazard a guess of probably about somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 gallons of water. Boiler that size, all of that will instantly turn to steam, and it will instantly expand to 2,700 times the size it was in the boiler. So basically pretty much everything within about half a mile of this locomotive is going to be flat. Big, big bang. Very much Petriol 61 and Crazy Killer, very much so. Still going. Fortunately, it's a green signal. Happy to hear that sound. Mr. Coaster Coaster found a bridge in southeastern high speed with so little clearance, cars were scraping the bottom. Yeah, that happens. There's one on Sherman Hill where the trucks actually float over it. They don't quite touch it. So the collision box isn't in the right place. Yes, low water bad, no water boom, you're right. And lots of very smart people will tell you, oh, there's a thing called the fusible plug in the firebox, and the fusible plug, the lead will melt out of the middle and the water will come out of the boiler into the fire and put the fire out. No. Because the fusible plug is in the steam space. The steam will come out and fill up your firebox with steam and blast shit everywhere if you happen to have the doors open. It's basically an indicator that you should get out and run like hell. So with 5 cars, you can get up the bank. That's pretty cool. I don't know how on earth we have any steam left, but we do. Clearly. What have we actually got? 160? It's not as bad as I thought. The, plenty going in the steam chest. I'm kind of surprised. I really didn't think that was going to do that. I'm happy. Makes me want to try it again with 6. And I think maybe in my own time I might try it again with 7. What I think I'll try in my own time is I'll put 7 on again, but I'll set back to the signal before the station. Where is the one before? No, it's right at the end of the platform. You can't set back very far at all. That's annoying. I could cheat. I could do it on the dev build where I can put a train anywhere I want and set the signals to what I want them to be. But I won't, because that would be mean. If I put up a video like that and then other people go, I can do that. Oh, no, I can't. That would just be a little bit mean. That would make people sad. I don't really want to do that. Actually, I do, but I won't. Mr. Coaster Coaster said, so if you were, you could destroy multiple buildings in the city if you're a steam train operator. Yeah, you could. You seriously could. I don't know if anybody remembers the Ohio traction engine incident about... when did it happen? Late 90s, I think. That traction engine flew... The estimates that were in the final report, which were conservative, was 75 feet into the air. They're lucky that it went up, not out. If it had gone out, it would have killed a lot of people. But as it was, it only killed the people on the footplate. It's kind of time to start slowing down for Bart Green, isn't it? I wasn't quite flat out there. SIT? CT, I guess? I was not quite on full forward gear. If I was on full forward gear, it would have slipped. Can't break with the big open. Now just think of the passengers at the bottom of the hill. Unexpected vehicle formation. I'm surprised it checks that. Duckington asks, do you think this Steam DLC is worth it? You do get, if you forget about the Steam trains themselves, you get about 7 hours of gameplay out of it with the scenarios. The scenarios are actually quite good. I quite like them. But what it does also do is open the door to do things like this, which is make a train to climb Licky Bank. I mean, you could have done that before, of course, but now you've got AWS, so you have an excuse for being out on modern routes, whereas before you didn't really have that excuse. So, yeah. I mean, let's be clear, is I didn't actually buy it. I got it from Dovetail for nothing. But I reckon I would buy it, because I think the scenarios are good enough. Off we go. Safety bell blasting away there. Just pretend we've got all of our train. You'd have to find a narrow gauge steam train, Mr. Coaster Coaster, and they did used to run on that line. They do steam tours on it now. But yeah, it would be very hard. Seems to like 28 for some reason. Yeah, there is a pointless red light down here, you are correct. In fact, I should start paying attention to it. Oh, this one's not quite pointless, actually. This is the signalling system's way of controlling who's coming from which branch. So now that it knows we're coming, as long as we don't go too quick, the next one should also be yellow. It would be interesting, Patriola 61. Would a light loco make it up the Rosalini? You could run one of these on there. It'll look completely stupid because it'll straddle the tracks and be running on the sleepers, but Mr. Coaster Coaster says Dovetail doesn't care about gauge. He's taking standard gauge on narrow gauge. Yeah, it's called off the rails for a reason. It's very off the rails. I don't know if you know, but the way the trains actually work, they don't know the tracks are there. The tracks don't know the trains are there. What it's running on is a spline down the centre of the track. And that's actually why you can run on narrow gauge track with a standard gauge locomotive, because the game doesn't actually care. It doesn't mind at all. I kind of think this light will actually go green as I approach it anyway. At least it always does when you're coming in from the other side. So we'll see. A spline is a thing that moving objects in 3D games follow. So the cars are following a spline on the road, and the roads are effectively train tracks. That barge that moves on Bremen-Oldenburg is following a spline. It's just a technique in 3D gaming. Why am I accelerating? I was expecting you to go green, but you're clearly not going to. Now you're green. Fine. Vacuum up yet? Now we do. Dave Randall says it's an approach control signal. Well, it is controlling your approach, but it could go green a bit earlier. Usually when I'm driving the 323s, I just crawl up to it at about 10 mile an hour, and it always changes. Camera angle for you? Nice one. Mr. Coaster Coaster says we need the GWR steam rail motor. I like that thing. That is a cool thing. Oh, I've got it in TSC. I run it on Riviera. So yes, that would be fun. Hopefully the vacuum cleaner's not coming through the mic. We have a little robot vacuum cleaner that runs in the mornings and it's surrounding me. Whoosh goes the safety valve. Loading, loading. Metro says he's running late due to grade crossing malfunctions. I think, young man, you'll be having a conversation with the NTSB shortly if they're running at 90 mile an hour on Caltrain. They're only allowed to run at 79. They're limited to 79 because they refuse to put positive train control on their trains. Although I believe the new trains actually have it. The new electric trains. The ones that are so much better than the diesels they have today. It's going to totally change that railway. Yeah, the blower's silly in this thing. It's just completely wrong. Let's just leave it at that. People tell me I don't point out flaws. Let me say it again. The blower's completely wrong. I had lots of good conversations with the guys that are working on firing for this, and I've given them lots of reference information. Bear! Bear! We go get the bear! We're moving now. We get lonely little bear. Hello, bear. How you doing? This needs a Steam screenshot, clearly. Green. Northfield. Where did I say we were going to take it to? The Cadbury factory, didn't I? Yeah, 3 stations. And I'll end the stream when we get to the Cadbury factory and we can all go get some chocolate. Because I have to pack my shit. Because I have to go somewhere. I haven't finished getting all the gear together for the shoot yet. Next stop, Northfield. Crazy Killer would like to see the exhaust colour change when adding coal. That would be good. And it could be anything from, and this will sound weird, but green through to yellow, through to blue, through to black. The different colours you get from coal smoke and the different kinds of coals. That'll do it. Unexpected vehicle formation. That's because I lost some. At least with only 5 cars fits in the platform, so it's good planning. Mr. Coaster Coaster says in TSW trains look super cool, but everything else is a little in the middle. Yeah, I actually think that the physics is generally reasonably good, particularly on the new stuff. The stuff from the last year or so where they've been paying a lot of attention to it. Signalling is getting better and better and better. Every new route's got good signalling. Hello, Daniel Robert Jowett. How are you? So, I'm kind of happy with where it's going. Could things be better? Of course. Could things be a lot better? Nah, probably not. Where we go? Off to the Kings of Norton. Now, robot vacuum cleaner's just eaten anything. Very brief little ring from the AWS there. It's like a little half-hearted. Daniel says he's good. It's his night off. Excellent. Mr. Coaster Coaster says grass feed steam engine mows the track while feeding the engine. There are a few lines where, yes, you could mow along the tracks. We just got stuck in a bridge. Full speed for the moment to Kings Norton. It's changing tracks soon. Our 40 zone coming up. AWS horn and the bell aren't lasting as long anymore, I think. SIT says there's a little patch on the Scotland route that has grass on the tracks. There's quite a few like that. A lot of the American freight routes have grass on the tracks. Sounds like I'm steamy. There are steam engines that recycle the steam. Steam engines that run in really dry desert climates actually condense the steam. And most boats condense their steam as well. Most steamboats. Because while if you're floating on the sea, you have a relatively unlimited supply of water, it's salty water, which is really bad for your machinery. Unexpected vehicle formation. That would actually happen, you know, at every station. Someone would go, "Oi, mate, you're missing the back half of your train." There's another DTG jacket and another one. They're everywhere. We don't get them. Why don't we get them? Had to get run over by a train. Well, I better open that first if I want to get run over by a train. Can't do that with a rail driver. Yes, you could burn diesel in the firebox. One of ours does. One of our coal engines has been converted to run on diesel. It's a bit of an experiment because we know at some point we won't be allowed to have coal anymore. Crazy Killer has had the fire door fall off when firing. I've never seen that. And had it stuck shut. Yeah. That would be challenging. Yes. Bit hard to get fire in when your door's shut. Last station coming up, and that'll be the end of this one. On Sunday morning, we'll be doing Mines Koblenz, or Koblenz Mines, whichever you like it. Otherwise known as Link Rheinstrecke. Its literal translation is Left Rhine. I have, here you go, you can cheat. Hey, except you can't see them. I have got the trivia questions ready for Sunday. So good luck to the people who like to play in the trivia game. I'll see you on Sunday morning. We're not very far off coming out of daylight savings. It's got the blower open. It has, look at that. I don't remember the last time I've seen the automatic fireman open the blower. But that's alright. Into the purple station we go. And sail straight through it. Never happened. Will it still tick it off? Yep. Have I collected the chocolate from this station? I can't remember. I want to go get chocolate. Hopefully it's here. Can't remember what I've collected in this build. I had some doors on the platform. Oh, new. Out of the way. These things look like little miniature TARDIS. There it is. Chocolate. Yay. Chocolate bar's eaten. Let's go get some flowers. And then we'll end the stream. Chocolate and flowers. What could go wrong? Take them home to your significant other if you've got one. If you don't have one, just eat them yourself. And after you've taken them home to your significant other, eat them anyway. I thought I had the mastery in this route. Maybe not in this build. Maybe I've managed to clear it. Bonk. Flowers planted. And on that note, we shall leave it here with a picture of a cow. Well, enjoy yourselves, folks. Have a good day, good weekend. I will see some of you, I hope, on Sunday morning. Thanks for hanging around. Thanks for watching. And I am going to have another crack at getting 7 cars up that bank. Because, you know, 5 was doable. 6, I reckon, would probably be a bit iffy. But 7's going to be the challenge. I might just try and make a video of it. Alrighty. Thanks heaps, folks. Hope to see you on Sunday. Have a great day or evening wherever you are, and we shall see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.